Today we are in South Tulsa, actually in Leonard, Oklahoma, at the Euchee Butterfly Farm. And joining me is Jane Breckenridge, the owner and operator of this farm. And it's a unique farm. Let's talk about what you're raising and the legacy of this place.
Right. So we are a working butterfly farm, the only working butterfly farm in the state of Oklahoma. Yeah. And yes, a butterfly farm is a real thing. It's not like a hippie hobby, although that sounds like something totally I would be into. But no, we are. Some people have livestock that are, cattle or goats or hogs. I'm just really lucky because my livestock is butterflies.
And it's a beautiful operation that you have here.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the legacy of this place.
Right. So it wasn't always a butterfly farm, but it has been in our family for 127 years. This was my great-grandmother's original allotment from 1899 when she was 16 years old. The entire allotment is still in family hands. As far as we know, it's the last intact allotment in Tulsa County. And it was, they held on to it at great sacrifice. And so for us to be able to think about how do we honor those sacrifices and how do we do it in a 21st century way, for some people, point A to B may not be start a butterfly farm, but for us, we feel like it's what she would have wanted.
Right, and you're carrying on those native roots and traditions,
we
right?
Are.
And working with the indigenous people. Let's talk a little bit about that.
We are.
Partner.
So we are more than a butterfly farm. We are the home of the Tribal Alliance for Pollinators, which is the largest native-led grassland restoration organization in all of North America. We work with tribes and tribal members to restore native plants back to their lands, both to help pollinators, help butterflies, for cultural plants as well. We have a lot of that. We work with pretty much all the tribes in Oklahoma and then tribes nationally as well. We've worked with 91 different tribes so far to restore native plants back to their lands.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about how that whole operation works. You're talking from finding the seeds to growing them out.
Right, and it's a labor of love. So we only use locally sourced native seeds. Yes, you can order seeds on the internet. That's all very good and well. But what we want to make sure we're doing is restoring what was actually lost here. So all of our seeds, and we've got 280 different types of seeds in our seed bank. Those are all wild collected here locally, and then they're grown out in our hoop houses, and then they go back to tribal lands to restore those. We've lost over 96% of our native grasslands here in Oklahoma, and that's been devastating for pollinators, for our beautiful butterflies, and we're just helping the tribes to help the land and help all those species at risk.
So tell me a little bit, you're creating pollinator islands.
Right, and so most people haven't heard of that, but it's a really cost-efficient way to do habitat restoration. And it was a protocol that was designed by Dr. Chip Taylor, who was our co-founder of Tribal Alliance for Pollinators. He invented the Monarch Way Station, and then he really expanded that concept outwards to do the pollinator islands. So with the habitat islands, we go through, we restore in an area about 20 by 20, we remove the non-native invasives, and then we do a dense planting of 20 plus species of native plants we've grown out in our hoop houses, and then over time they recolonize, and we've seen it happen. We've done thousands of these, and it really does work. It's a really cost-efficient way to do this and bring these species back and do it in a really biodiverse, beautiful way, and not just for our pollinators and our butterflies, but for our native birds as well.
So tell me a little bit, why was it so important to get the tribal nations involved in this?
Well, that's a really good question because a lot of people don't understand what the connection is with the tribes and the butterflies. But when the monarch butterfly population hit its all-time record low in the winter of 2013, 2014, the USDA released a map. Where were the critical zones if we were going to save monarch migration? And Oklahoma was right in the middle of the bullseye. That was before the Okies decided they were for monarchs, which I love now, by the way. But that was back when telling people you wanted to bring milkweed back to the working lands of Oklahoma was pretty controversial. Mm-hmm. But at that time, even though we didn't have a lot of other organizations on board, the tribes were ready. And the only question they ever had was, how are we going to do this? Not why are we going to do this, but how. And so they came together, 7 tribes, with Chip Taylor from Monarch Watch, and we set out not only to restore monarch habitat in Oklahoma, but also to build the capacity in this region. Oklahoma is important with the tribes because the monarch flyway, where the migratory path is mostly the eastern 2/3 of the state. 90% of that area is under dual jurisdiction between tribes and other entities. Tribes have huge land holdings, a cultural commitment to do that, and before our program, nobody was really reaching out to them to engage them in this work. So it's been hugely successful. It's even included in National Geographic magazine, and we've been really, really happy and proud to be able to expand on the work, to now help our native bees. We've had 91 different tribes throughout the United States participate in our programming. So we're very, very proud of it. So we've got Natives Raising Natives, which is our tribal butterfly farming program that's about sustainable and economic development. Also youth education, and it's a really cool way to get kids excited about science. Also a really great way with those butterflies to promote conservation. We have a food sovereignty program, FIT, our food initiative for tribes, and that's got a teaching kitchen and gardening classes. We're a prescribed burn association. We got a lot going on here, and we are open to the public for tours 2 days a week. And people can go to our website at www.nativebutterflies.org and sign up for tours, learn more about the work. We are a working farm, but we also have a nonprofit that lives here as well that does all of our education and conservation work.
You guys are doing so much, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I would encourage our viewers to come and visit you guys on your website, at least to get more information too.
Yes, and we'd love to host them for a tour. We're open for tours 2 days a week. Everybody can do their part, and we'd like to share with people how. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.